Um,
Ah,
there you go.
your word.
And so the first, before we start, I just wanted to mention that tomorrow night there's going to be a meeting at Community Board 1 where the Empire State Development Corporation is going to present. So we'd really encourage everybody to please sign up to speak and to show your support for 100% affordability at the World Trade Center site. So that's to begin with. So we're going to start off with a PowerPoint on affordable housing, and I'm going to ask Todd to run us through a bit of a history of affordable housing downtown.
Let me share my screen. Sorry. You guys see this okay?
Yep.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
up there.
My computer's stalling. There it goes.
Perfect. Todd, you're on mute.
Okay, so yes, thank you. So yes, this presentation is going to be a quick review. By the way, I'm Todd Fine. I'm a historian and also a member of the coalition. And this presentation is going to be a very quick review, and I should caution that it's biased toward the lower west side, the west side, west of Broadway. It's also biased toward the period since the Revolutionary War. So it doesn't acknowledge, for instance, the Native American history, and it doesn't acknowledge the Black and slave populations, or even that which was also more along the South Street Seaport and Five Points and other things. It's focused on what we sometimes call the lower west side. So next slide, please. So after the Revolutionary War, this area west of Broadway is mostly landfill, and it was federal mansions, which you can see on the left. This is a drawing from the 1810s. But after the elite moved north to other neighborhoods like around Union Square, Fifth Avenue, eventually, of course, the Upper West Side and Upper East Side. These, in the 1830s, those mansions became tenements and were added to by other tenement apartments. We're talking about Washington Street, Greenwich Street, and you can see a picture from the 1890s around when a lot of immigrants come. Initially, it was Irish and German immigrants in the 1830s, 40s, 50s. Next slide. By the 1880s, there were a lot of immigrants from the Ottoman Empire, and this became one of the most diverse areas, perhaps in the entire history of the world, for immigrants, because it was literally where you would get off the boat from Ellis Island and from the immigration stations, and included Scandinavians, but also Eastern Europeans, especially Czechs and Slovaks, who were still there in substantial numbers by the 1850s and 60s when the World Trade Center was built. Next slide. This area was also kind of separated or segregated from the rest of the financial district because of the elevated trains, which were very loud and noisy and smelly, and created a lot of environmental issues. So that was another sort of impetus for more affordability. Next slide. Additionally, there was for a long time a large soap factory, the Babbitt Soap Factory, which was internationally, nationally known. And of course, that created a lot of bad smells, which also made this area more affordable. Next slide. More skyscrapers, office buildings started to be built in the 1920s and 30s. But as you can see from this picture of Battery Place below, there are still lots and lots of tenements at that period between the skyscrapers. Next slide. In the 1940s, Robert Moses planned originally to build a bridge. You can see the model of the bridge that would have wiped out not only a big part of Battery Park, but also this section. Ultimately, he didn't build the bridge, partially because of resistance from even the President of the United States, Roosevelt, during the World War II, and it became the tunnels. But the entrance ramps to the tunnels destroyed many, many blocks of low-income tenements. Next slide. In the 1960s, there was, of course, the plan to build the World Trade Center and then also the landfill for Battery Park City. And in this drawing, you can see how the original plan also involved the World Trade Center to be connected to many other skyscrapers that would have been connected subterraneously. And the plan actually was for many of them to be housing for middle class workers in those office buildings. Of course, the World Trade Center became such a big project that it never happened, but Battery Park City is the result of sort of that ethic. Next slide. There were a lot of course, a lot of low-rise buildings and small businesses that were destroyed for the World Trade Center construction, most known for the electronics district of Radio Row. But of course, when we're talking about the demolition of all those blocks, there was, of course, low-income and affordable housing that was destroyed above those businesses. And people fought that. Next slide. There was also, because it wasn't considered an ideal, even though it wasn't considered an ideal residential neighborhood, there were all these artists who moved in to establish lofts, and other people who were willing to accommodate Lower Manhattan, which was this part of Lower Manhattan, which wasn't necessarily best suited for housing. Here you can see a famous picture of some artists living on the roof of a building in actually close to on the east side, Coenties Slip in 1958. Next slide. So in the 1990s and into the 2000s, you start to see this push toward office conversions. You see the 421 tax credit that was proposed under Dinkins, but implemented under Giuliani. As a result of especially those office conversions, the population has tripled since 2001 from around 20,000 to 60,000 south of Chambers Street. And that desire for more affordability, that led to mostly market rate apartments, although there was that tax credit is supposed to allow rent stabilization in some cases. And there was 21 years later, there was a lawsuit that was just resolved very recently in the last 2 years to force landlords to honor those obligations for rent stabilization, but they were not enforced. So there are many people that should have had affordable housing under these tax rules that have now left the area, left their homes, and we have affordable housing that was never properly established, and now we still have to fight for. Next slide. After September 11th, there was a broad demand for affordable housing to be built as part of it. There were listening sessions held across the city by organizations like the Civic Alliance for Downtown, New York New Visions, Imagine New York, which was administered by the Municipal Art Society, and RDOT. These organizations had dozens of listening sessions, which are well documented, to have affordable housing and a variety of income levels for housing to be part of any reconstruction of Lower Manhattan. And because of that, this idea of affordable housing was actually established within the Lower Manhattan Development Corporation's core principles of what its aims should have been. Next slide. But what we've actually seen is not much new affordable housing at all. In fact, probably either it's the same or probably a reduction. And some major examples of reduction in affordable housing can be seen in these buildings. We have Gateway Plaza, which is no longer under full rent stabilization. We have North Independence Plaza, which has had to fight for its affordability protections, and of course Southbridge, which changed its status under Mitchell-Lama. Next slide. But what we do see all around us are unfinished or unclear luxury, both condos and rentals that are not working, and we have a glut of them. Yet this seems to be what our government unfortunately wants to subsidize, including through this World Trade Center plan. So on the left, you see 125 Greenwich Street, which is across the street from the 5 World Trade Center lot. It recently entered foreclosure, and there hasn't been much construction on it in the last 4 or 5 years. And on the right, you see another building that's across the street from 5 World Trade Center, the W Hotel, and that hotel has just closed, and its future is also unclear. So that's a synopsis of the history in pictures, but obviously we have a lot more to do to flesh out the data and other things related to this. And Community Board 1 has done more research on the specifics of the affordable numbers in the past, and that research needs to continue. So thank you.
Thank you, Todd. That was really, really informative and in a very short period of time. That was really good. Thank you so much. And I think, the big takeaway here is we're losing affordable housing, and the 5 World Trade Center is really our chance to build something and to bring back some affordable housing that we've been losing to a neighborhood that's been home to working class and low income people for a long, long time. And we're now losing that. So just to move on next, we just want to talk about what we've done since our last meeting. I'm going to ask here if Taylor is available. I'll give a quick brief outline of what we did. We did do some flyering at the Essential Workers Parade. We were able to hand out a lot of flyers to people at the parade, and then there was a Chinatown block party, which I'm going to ask Taylor to talk about, and how we were able to do outreach there.
Sure. Thanks, Victoria. I'm Taylor, she, her, longtime resident of Battery Park City and survivor of 9/11. And yeah, I just wanted to share some of the in-person flyering we've been doing for the coalition. This is our amazing flyer. It has our little QR code here, so people are able to access the petition from their phone if we're out in person and sign our petition. We've also got some flyering going up in storefronts around the neighborhood, and we hope to keep flyering and doing in-person outreach, where our petition signatures are in the hundreds at this point. So we're definitely hoping to keep increasing that, and would love all the help we can get from all of you. And I'll hand it over to Mariama to keep talking about some of the great updates we've been having since our first meeting in July.
Hi, I'm Mariama. I'm very excited to talk about some of the attention that we've been getting lately as the coalition continues to grow. We're up to several hundred people having signed up to join the petition, join the coalition, although we not only welcome, we need many, many, many more. So please do look into that yourselves and invite your friends and all your social media and everybody else to do that as well. But we have been recognized and interviewed by a few of the local papers. We had the Battery Park City broadsheet, the Downtown Express, we're on the cover here of the Downtown Express, so that was pretty big for us. The city is actually who initiated all of this, and once they did their article, it was shared. Their policy is very open and wide, and it was shared and picked up by the Downtown Express. Again, that's how we ended up on the cover, and some other media followed. In addition to that, our own Todd Fine did a piece in the Tribeca Trib that was published, so we're very happy about that. We've appeared in the Tribeca Citizen, or the story has at least, and we continue to do articles and to be contacted by different outlets. I'm very happy about that. Something else that we're very, very excited about, I guess we can go to the next slide.
Which, did you talk about the slide before?
Oh, I thought that was the slide after. Oh, this one. Okay, yes. This too, a few of us, it was myself, Joe, I don't want to mispronounce his name, Slevlak, I think it is. He appeared at our first meeting and he talked about a lot of the histories, and he's a fellow historian, one of Todd's colleagues, and he gives walking tours. Jill Goodkind is one of our own members, and of course, Todd Goodkind's widow, Tom Goodkind rather, who we modeled a lot of this after. We picked up on his great idea that he championed for about 10 years, and we've taken it on and run with it. And so she's very proudly by our side. We all did some video testimony for Port Authority's general board meeting. You had to be 3 minutes long, or up to 3 minutes long, no longer than that, and no more than 100 MBPs. We're actually welcoming people to do the same. And if we missed your testimony to the Port Authority, to please, email us and share that information with us. But if you'd like to put your story also into video form and send it to us, we invite you to do that too. And then this is huge. We are very proud and honored to have the support of our district's Congressman, Gerald Nadler, the head of the judiciary. So that also helps too. full support. You know, he supports 100% affordability, understands that it's possible that we may not get there, but we're going to try. And he's helped us out with some mechanisms to attempt to do that. Things like Section 8 that I believe one of my colleagues here will go into deeper in a moment. That's it from me.
Thank you, Mariama. And thanks for walking us through that. It is a great first step is this letter from Representative Nadler, and we're really, really appreciative of it. I know that Hannah from Nadler's office could join us. Thank you for being with us. I don't know if you want to say something or.
Sure. So I'm Hannah from Congressman Jerry Nadler's office. I think that, you know, we appreciate that right now the 25% is the developer subsidy. And so what we're trying to do is find different avenues, be it a state, city, or federal subsidy, so that we can, you know, increase affordability in the building. So we are obviously open to working with our other elected counterparts, but just trying to make sure that we show our support to the community and try to at least expand the amount of affordable housing. Again, reiterating that, you know, 100% might not be feasible, but what can we do to expand that opportunity for this community? And especially for, you know, Lower Manhattan, the residents were so instrumental in rebuilding it, right? We want to make sure that we do good by them. So we're going to continue the fight and conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. And we do really, really appreciate the support and looking forward to working with you and the rest of the office to keep this going forward. So we do have a couple of elected officials with us tonight. So, and Hannah, thank you for speaking on behalf of Representative Nadler. So our Assembly member, Yuli New, is with us tonight. We would love to have a few words if you can.
I'm sorry. I just say hello to everyone. I am, as you know, I'm super supportive and will continue to be supportive. This is something that Lawrence and Tom Goodkind actually talked extensively about for the last couple of years before he passed. And, you know, this is something that we really feel is important for our district because, you know, they're willing to build, they want to build affordable housing. We know we need affordable housing, but this is like prime real estate for affordable housing. So we just think that makes a lot of sense. And this could be a great you know, example of what it is to have deeply affordable housing that is actually affordable housing for so many folks here in New York. We could have, you know, hundreds of thousands of units if this is the model, you know. So I just think that this is something that we can really push forward, and we've been pushing forward. I actually had the extensive conversation with Jerry's office, and so he has, you know, he's been very supportive, and I think that this is something that, you know, so many more people can be, you know, very supportive of. And I already talked to Chuck Schumer. I talked to Kristen Gillibrand. I've talked to a lot of folks who I think can help to push these things to get the dollars, right? So that we can get these things through. On the state level, as you know, there's a lot, there's a lot of different things that we are pushing right now on the housing front. I still need all of your support on good cause eviction. I know that this is something that's really near and dear to your hearts, especially for Gateway residents and for the folks who are in, you know, actual market rate too in places in Battery Park City and FIDI, right? Because we know that this is a really important thing for all of our constituents to be able to have more incremental rent increases. We've seen some of the rent around here jump like thousands of dollars in one day. So just wanted to, you know, show up for this as well, and have folks kind of advocate for affordable housing as a whole, right? And I think that it's really all about making sure that we can continue that conversation in a very unified front. So thank you so much for all of your work. I can't believe like all of the work that you guys have done. Todd, on that piece, excellent. I loved it. And I think that, you know, I will continue to advocate for reporters to cover it as well. So let me know how I can be helpful there.
Thank you so much. We so appreciate your support, and we know we can count on you. So appreciate it. So thank you. So I believe Greer from Senator Kavanaugh, Brian Kavanaugh's office is here.
Hello, yes, I'm here. Hello, how is everyone?
Good, good. Thank you for joining us this evening. Did you want to say a few words on Senator's behalf?
Yes, we are, yes. Thank you so much for inviting our office. The senator has been, he is a champion for affordable housing throughout the state, and he definitely, whatever projects that are happening in the district, he definitely wants to follow. And we really appreciate the community backing and the engagement from our counterparts in various offices. And we look forward to being a part. And thanks again.
Thank you. Well, thank you for joining us this evening. And we, again, also appreciate Senator's support. We also have the Democratic nominee for City Council, Christopher Marte, and who's also been a big supporter. I'd love to ask him to say a few words.
First of all, I want to say congratulations. It's amazing. I remember when the idea was being first tossed around and just seeing the growth and the momentum that all the work you've put in. It's truly amazing. And now this news is citywide news of how to build affordable housing in Lower Manhattan when everyone else, whether it's a real estate interest or people in our community, say it's impossible to do so. You guys are the living example of showing that it's not impossible to do this. So, give yourself a pat on the back, and for everyone that signed the petition, and also for the elected officials and Jerry Nadler for really supporting the community and standing with us. And it just means a lot for people who live downtown and who are fighting against displacement and see this as an opportunity for everyone. And so thank you all. I'm excited to be part of this journey. Anything I can do now or in the future, you can count on me. And yeah, I'm excited to see how this grows. And hopefully this is just the first one we make affordable, and we continue after that.
Thank you. That is awesome. And thank you. We know we can count on your support. We really, really appreciate it. And look forward to you being in our city council member and pushing this that way too. So we really appreciate it. Thank you. So I think we are, I think those are elected officials, unless Taylor, someone else has popped on that I'm not aware of. So I'd like to actually move on to our coalition member, Richard Corman, and to discuss about where do we stand now with the political scene as it is with the situation. So please take it away.
All right, thank you, Victoria. Hi, everybody, I'm Richard Corman. And I guess I want to start by saying that from the beginning, we saw this effort, aside from the inherent rightness of it, as requiring three things. It required community support and community engagement, participation, and effort to make this happen. And we see that happening in front of us with this meeting and all the other work that's going on. And that's great. And the second thing that we saw that was required was because this is a state-owned property and a state initiative under Empire State Development Corporation and the auspices of the Port Authority, we needed public official support from both the governor's office, but also our state legislators. And I'm happy to say so far, at least one of those two, namely our state legislators, are here in support of us. Thank you, Yulene and Senator Kavanaugh. And we have a letter, we've had a letter into soon to be departed Governor Cuomo in for probably now 6 or 8 weeks, sadly without a response. And we are now hopeful that the new governor, Kathy Hochul, when she takes office, will be more responsive to this need here. I know that she has her people have reached out to people in Lower Manhattan to try to begin to arrange information sessions so that she can become more aware of the issues down here. I'm sure she's got plenty on her plate, so we're making that effort to see how quickly we can get on her calendar, but hopefully we can. We'll certainly be sending her the information we've sent on to the other to the governor and other elected officials. So that was the second thing. And the third thing is our federal support, because the other thing that was very critical here in making this happen was one very simple thing: money. Money is always the core to these things. This is an arrangement with private developers, and private developers have an expectation, and in fact, our public entities have an expectation of a cash flow. And so the question was, where is the money going to come from to help support a significant increase, hopefully up to 100%, but certainly a significant increase in the amount of affordable housing? It doesn't come for free. And here's where we're really delighted that Congressman Nadler and his office took the reins, and they went back to HUD and they explored options, and they put out the letter that that you saw before, and including a very critical option there and an opportunity for us, which is Section 8 housing. I'm not an expert in Section 8 housing, but to the degree that we can generate, and I'm told by Hannah, you correct me if I'm wrong, that there is the potential with the new Biden administration, the potential of having substantial infusion of Section 8 housing funds coming into New York State. And with those funds, we are able to, in fact, bring the necessary money, at least we're hoping we can bring the necessary money to make a big difference in how much affordable housing will be put in this building. And not only that, it should also give us the flexibility in terms of the type of affordability that's there, both highly affordable, low income, but all the way through moderate and perhaps middle income as well. So we really want to create a true representation of Lower Manhattan, and satisfy the great need for affordable housing that we have in downtown. So with those three things now in motion, the hopeful possibility of Section 8 housing, our great support from both Congressman Nadler and Congresswoman Maloney, and the support that we're getting from our state representatives and city representatives to the degree that they can lend support here in a state project, we're always happy for that. We are certainly hopeful, and we are driving all of these three elements forward at the same time. And those are my comments.
Thank you, Richard. No, that was very, very informative and helpful. And I'd like to just give a moment, open up for a moment if people have questions. We can take a couple questions now about what you've heard about whether the PowerPoint or what Richard just explained about the financing, or what our electeds who are here they can answer any questions. So if there are any questions, you can raise your hand, and Taylor, if you could let me know.
I see one from Marianne.
Great.
So my question has to do with what I just heard about having Richard, were you talking about a mix of incomes in 5 World Trade Center, or just
Yes.
the whole area? Okay.
No, we're hopeful for a mix of incomes in that building in 5 World Trade.
Okay. And when there's Section 8 housing, what are the rules for people becoming eligible for that? Or could you even just give us a link at some point where we could read about it?
That is what I'm going to have to do, unless Hannah or anyone else is able to provide more explanation. To be perfectly honest, I'm beginning to educate myself on Section 8 housing, so I don't want to, provide any misinformation. But as we get more information, we'll share that with everyone here. And it is my understanding that Section 8 housing, as a contractual agreement, allows for a range of solutions that are appropriate for a particular project. And so I don't think that there's one single answer, that we have an opportunity to create something here that is right for Lower Manhattan.
Marianne, I can provide some semblance of a response. In general, for Section 8, an individual that applies for it cannot exceed 50% of AMI. And there's some other rules that go along with it, but that's just like the general rule of thumb.
Okay. You said cannot exceed 50% of AMI?
Correct, yes.
Thank you, sorry. Thank you.
I see Justine and Victoria with hands up.
I think Mr. Salas actually helped answer my question, which was to point out or clarify that it seemed as if there were multiple income levels that could be available or could avail themselves of Section 8 housing. My ignorant, simple understanding of Section 8 housing was it was for very extremely low-income people, and that's not the case. And so, yeah, I am so happy to be educated. And I would like to learn more. As Richard said, we're embarking on a road to figure out the answers to the questions, and we've got our work cut out for us.
Awesome. Victoria?
Hi, everyone. I also am not as familiar with Section 8. My understanding is it's based on income, and for extreme poverty levels where rent stabilization, and I may be wrong, I believe is based on the rent thresholds that is permanently affordable housing meant to pass on to generation by generation. I'm not 100% certain of this clarification. My question was, is the money related to, in other words, do we get rent stabilization by obtaining money from the state? And would it have to fall under HUD if we receive the money from the federal government? Those were my questions. And my third question was, Governor Cuomo has been, two more things. One is that I thought we could invite the Senate Committee on Housing. We know all of them very well that fought for our rent reforms. If we need their help, I know that they would all champion this and be willing to support this project. And then the fourth question I had was, I have heard over the years, I'm so sorry, an ambulance went by, that Governor Cuomo has a very special little slush fund set aside with a very grand fortune in there. Is there a chance that we could get our hands on that money from the state? So those were the four things that I thought that I could in some way contribute. And the answer to those questions, in other words, who do we go to?
I'm not sure what slush fund you're talking about, if it's the $5 million he got from his book, or like that he's not going to give up, or the
No, not that money, Yulene. Haven't you ever heard about that money he has set aside that he all of a sudden to light up the bridge? He has money set aside somewhere.
He has a lot of money in
like a lot of money, not a little, like but maybe enough.
I just want to say that for anything that's Section 8, so HUD is a federal program. I want people to know the difference, right? So I just wanted to clarify so that folks are not getting things confused. But there is, of course, HUD has all of the Section 8 programming, right? So there is talk right now about federal dollars coming in to put out more funding into the voucher system. There was an ending of HUD's Section 8 program prior to this. So, I think that this is a discussion. One of the people who is key to having these discussions is actually Nidia. We are lucky to have Nidia as our representative because she has been the big foremost fighter for fully funding NYCHA and our public housing, but also for funding HUD for some of the different housing programs that we have. One of the things that I will say on the state level, because this is World Trade 5, like this is World Trade Center 5, it is also under the state purview. So there are federal and state combo things going on here. And I think that also we have to make sure that we are having like good differentiation between what is what funding. So I'm happy to, I actually, you know, I was thinking what would maybe be really helpful to the folks in this group is to talk to maybe somebody from Legal Aid Society on housing to actually get like some background on what could be available and what, you know, what might be a good programming to put together, or like if Section 8 would be the preferable venue or mechanism here. So I think like that might be something that's helpful to folks. Also, I think maybe we should also talk to Nidia and see if she wants to maybe give us a little bit of an overview on how you know, how the budget stuff is coming along on the federal side. So I know that there's going to have it's what they call a reconciliatory budget that is coming out. The infrastructure budget that came out, unfortunately, does not have what we wanted in it. I was looking specifically for $80 billion for NYCHA, and unfortunately, we're not. I guess it's going to be in the conciliatory budget, and so we have to wait for that to come out in the end. So I'm trying to figure out from Nidia if that is what's happening or not. But yes, Victoria, there's Cuomo has stuck money in different places that we're just finding out.
I knew it. I heard all about it. I know he has it.
Yeah,
I think he needs to show us the money.
I don't know what he's gonna do in the next like 10 days, but I'm scared. I just
Let's find it. Let's all go to Albany.
dig around. I'll take you. Let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Victoria, for the question. And Yulene, thank you so much for the information. We'll definitely, if you don't mind, I'll reach out to you and your staff and we can try to connect and try to get this picture, a better picture, and, you know, work with a group.
Yeah, and Victoria, let me just also say, and that's in response to what Yulene is saying and really in support of that. It's very clear, and to all of us that have been working this is not a simple issue. And there are federal and state interconnections that Yulene was just describing, and the source of the money is very important, and how it will and be able to be used is important. So there's a lot for us to learn. And Yulene, it's really wonderful that you're you know, offering these suggestions and your help. We definitely need to take advantage of all of that so that we become as expert as possible in these discussions and make this happen.
Thank you, Richard, and thank you, Michael Kramer just put into our chat here a piece from Listening to the City, which is very helpful as well.
I think it's really helpful. That's so cool. I'm glad you called it out or called attention to it.
Thank you. So I'm going to, I think Mariama had a question. Ms. Mariama, are you?
Thanks. No, I didn't have a question, but I was looking for the raise hand function to share that one of the things that I've learned in conversations with Congressman Nadler's office and also with Carolyn Maloney's office is that there are a number of different kinds of Section 8. I had no idea. You know, I thought there was only one. So like, I think it's pretty normal for the average person when you say Section 8 to presume that means like this really, you know, low income, or you have to be like a victim of DV or something. And that's not the case. You know, I'm newly educated myself.
Yeah, no, I certainly thought that as well when I first heard it. So thank you. So actually, Mariama, perfect, because I'm gonna actually ask you now to speak a little bit about Independence Plaza North, the Tenants Association.
Well, that item was me actually inviting Independence Plaza's North Tenant Association to not only to the meeting, but to speak on their own behalf as, you know, just a large cohort of the community that was, you know, directly impacted by 9/11, as well as the loss of affordable housing, you know. And I think their voices are going to be important to hear as we, you know, go along, you know, as will people from Gateway and people from Southbridge, and just to share what we once had, what we're trying to recoup, what the neighborhood definitely desperately needs to survive and thrive, unless we want to see just, you know, a mass exodus from here and a whole new breed of people losing, of course, the people who rebuilt the neighborhood. You know, that is those of us who remained here, those of us who moved back, you know, after our apartments were cleaned or whatever, and those of us who took advantage of some of these 421, you know, tax abatements that are expiring now. You know, people were begged to move downtown and asked to help the neighborhood, and they did. And, you know, it's been 20 years. So now they're being, what, they got to get out. You know, thanks for your help. Bye. That it's horrible. So definitely hope to hear those voices from them and rather than me in the near future. But that's what that item was. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariama. So we're going to move on to a call to action, and I'm going to ask Justine to jump in here.
Sure. Thanks so much. Can you guys hear me? Because I hear spotty.
Yes.
You can hear me. Okay. So on the call to action, first and foremost, I want to just remind everyone that we need signatures for our petition. And I know that the people who are on this call have already signed the petition, but we're going to ask you to share the petition. Share it with your friends and your family and people who would be interested, your neighbors, and you can do it electronically. And if you get involved, you can email us at affordabletower5@gmail.com. And we can give you information on how to share the petition, or you are probably more internet savvy than I am, so you probably know how to share the petition. Or we can figure out a way for us to join a petition and do petitioning in person. We're working on that. Yeah, I guess Victoria is asking to post a link. Carol, that would be helpful if you can. And then, okay, so then next is, here it is. Here's the petition. Here's how you get there. And we are just asking people to join us, right? You sign the petition, you move it on, and then I think in here, Taylor, I just am so blind, I can't read it, but I think it tells us ways in which we can pass it on to other people and also put our petition and send the petition off to our government officials and let them know how many people are interested. Secondly, speaking about letting people know how many people are interested, as Victoria said at the beginning of the call, Community Board 1 is having our board meeting, it's called the Executive Committee Board meeting tomorrow. But because we only have one meeting in August, we're allegedly having volunteer vacations. The link is in the chat. Taylor's putting it up. But what we're asking people to do is to call in, because one of the items on the agenda is the Empire State Development Corporation is coming, and they're going to be talking about the plans, their idea of what's affordable, what's not, the street grid. They're going to talk about their plans of what is going to happen at 5 World Trade Center. And what we need is a strong showing of people saying, we don't want this to be anything but 100% affordable. We want multi-income, low income, moderate income, people being put in there, and we want the preference given to survivors of 9/11, first responders, and their children. What we're asking for is you to show up. When you sign into the meeting, you don't have to speak if you don't want to. I know some people get nervous about speaking, but what you can do is sign up, and there's a part there where it says, do you want to say something? Or what do you hear about? Put in, you're here for the Coalition for 100% Affordability at 5 World Trade Center. The more people that show up, the better it is for our cause, because what we need is numbers. They need to understand that we are here, we are loud, we are right, and we're not going away. We need affordability, and we need to have people committed to doing that. And unfortunately, the commitment means spending nights on the phone and on calls like this, and more calls and more calls. So we thank you. We thank you for joining, and we thank you for sharing the petition, and thank you for signing in. Another thing I believe is you can also make videos to tell your 9/11 stories and about affordable housing or phone banking and letter writing. To get more information about that, reach out to our email that Taylor posted in the chat, and we can give you more information about those items as well. And then the last thing is I want to invite you all to come and participate as a team building experience for all of us with the Tunnel to Towers Run Walk that is happening on September 26th. We created a team called 100% Affordable 5 World Trade Center, and it's called Team Goodkind in honor of Tom Goodkind, who's really did put the bulk of his community service work in trying to preserve and provide affordable housing in Lower Manhattan. We want to honor him, but honor our coalition and be part of it. So now, to be clear, it's a run, it's a walk, it's a 5K, which means 3.1 miles. There are going to be people who can do that. That's great. But even if you can't, you can still sign up. And we are partnering. So now I'm going to give you a little bit about Tunnel to Towers in a minute. But the idea behind this is for us to all get together. So you sign up, you become part of it. You either are running or walking, or you sign up and meet us at the finish line or at the block party on BC Street. We're going to invite you all to wear or purchase and wear the 100% affordable 5 World Trade Center t-shirts, which we're looking to make available for people for $10. On the website, we're going to have our petition and everything else, and Taylor will show you what the t-shirt looks like in a minute, but it's there. But at the end of the day, 100% clear. Signing up for the race, whether you're going to walk, you're going to run, or just sign up, it's a donation to Tunnel to Towers Foundation. It's not a donation to us. We're not collecting money. The only thing would be that to cover the cost of t-shirts if you want to do that. But let me tell you what the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is. It was founded in honor of the memory of firefighter Stephen Siller, who died on 9/11, 2001, when he left his truck on the Brooklyn side of the Battery Tunnel, ran with all his gear to the towers to try to help people and save people, and he lost his life that day. He never came out. His family started the Tunnel to Towers Foundation in his honor and has staged this annual run and walk since 2002. Here in New York, it goes through the Battery Tunnel and follows his footsteps. But at the same time, there are more than 70 similar events going on around the nation. And all of it is done to raise money for disabled first responders and veterans. And in the years since 2001, the foundation has raised more than $250 million, and they have provided 450 mortgage-free homes to these disabled heroes. They also have empowered and educated more than 500,000 participants. If you come to the meeting tomorrow night at the community board, spokesmen from the Tunnel to Towers Foundation are coming to talk about what's happening this year at the race, the 26th. They want to let you know what it is that the people who participate are going to do. They want to tell us how they're going to interact with and kind of respect our neighborhood, because down in Battery Park City and Fidei, they're inviting 25,000, 30,000 people to come and run. It's a lot of people for a weekend. But so they come and they talk to us, and they've been good partners with us. But they're also going to let you know, they'll have details about it, how they're planning to build an entire community of smart homes for these wounded warriors and first responders. And it's going to be housing disabled veterans. And they're also going to be paying mortgages for the families of first responders and personnel, military personnel, who've died in the line of duty. And they're also funding 2 orphanages, one in New York and another in Haiti. They're an amazing, clearly this is something that speaks to me. And again, just to be 100% clear, doing this gives money to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. If you sign up to run, or you just sign up and then meet us at the end. The cost for that is about $60 to $80. If you sign up early, and I don't know if that deadline is passed yet, it's $60 without a chip. When you look on the website and you see it, the only reason to buy a chip is if you're going to be like a runner who wants to keep track of your time. If you're just going to run or try to walk or try to just not like pass out by going the 3.1 miles like I will, you just sign up for the no chip and you just do it. But again, that money is not coming to us, so we're not asking for any money for that. But you are going to funding a really good cause. And yeah, that's it. I hope everybody runs. A lot of people do. I know myself and my family have participated every year. And when I can't participate, I watch on the sidelines and cheer on the people who are going. It's a really moving event and just really a worthwhile cause. Taylor, if you go on to the next slide. There's the t-shirt. So the t-shirt's in the works. If you email us at affordabletowers5@gmail.com, we can get you a t-shirt. And the idea is that on the day of the race, or a few days before, the people who have participated and signed up, we will get them their t-shirt, and either we will all run wearing the t-shirt on that day or walk wearing the t-shirt on that day. But if anyone is aware of kind of how the day goes, you kind of finish, you start off in Brooklyn, run through the tunnel, get to the other side as fast or slow as it takes. So somewhere around noon, we can all meet up on the other side at the block party. And I just hope that we see people like Yulene running with us, Christopher Marte running with us, other people, anybody who can run, we would love it. Family members, community members. I know that there's so many people who do participate. And like I said, if you can't make it through and 3.1 miles is too much, meet us at the end and walk with us. If you park yourself at the entrance on West Street, where the tunnel comes out, you will see all these firefighters just lined up holding pictures of the firefighters, the 350 something firefighters who died that day. It is one of the most moving experiences of my life. So, and yeah, I see you, Yulene, saying you've got a busted knee. You can hobble and roll. I love it. Just meet us at the end. Just meet us at the end. Anyway, I'm done. Thank you so much. I hope I see everybody out there one way or the other. And I'm really excited. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Justine. Thanks for going through that and for setting that up and organizing it. That's really, I think it's going to be a great event for us to all show up together and participate. It's a great cause to begin with. I think just to quickly recap, we did talk about making videos. If anyone feels so compelled, please do make a video. We'd love to have it. We'd love to put it on our website to show, you know, why we're doing this. Why do we care about this affordable housing? Why does it matter to downtown and to people who have survived and to the first responders who have saved downtown and bring it back to what it is now. So we'd love to have that. And then I think Taylor, we're going to say a couple of words now. I know Taylor was having technical.
Yeah, I was having technical issues before, but thank you. And I won't take too much time. I just wanted to acknowledge that so many of us are survivors of 9/11 and this time, or lost loved ones, and this time can be really tough. And I just want to acknowledge that there's space in this community. There's, you know, room in my heart for you, and time and accommodation, just to acknowledge that this is going to be and has been a tough 20 years, and it's going to be a tough month with lots of triggers, but hopefully an opportunity to also look at how strong we are and how far we've come as a community, and how we can unite around really important issues like affordable housing and fair access. So I just want to say you are loved, you are in community, and you're not alone. And we've been through so much. We will keep going through so much more together.
Thank you, Taylor. And I'd like to echo that. It's definitely not an easy time for a lot of us. So, but this is, you know, let's bring something good out of something hard. So I'd like to wrap it up, but I
see a question, Victoria.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, if we had any more questions, just want to take a couple questions. And I believe that Michelle had a question. Is that?
Not exactly a question. I just wanted to give a quick yes. Section 8 is federal, and HUD contributes to the financing of the building. So it's important for that to be lined up during the development period. And what is very nice about Section 8 is that as people's incomes change, the contribution from the federal government adjusts accordingly. So people don't get priced out of Section 8. You know, they can remain in that rental unit for as long as they choose to, even if they begin earning more money, they just receive a lesser subsidy. But the buildings doing the Section 8 development, because it is subsidized by the federal government, financing wise, you know, push back when they cry about having to provide affordable housing. Is my recommendation.
Thank you. Definitely hear that. Thank you. Do we have any other questions? Does anyone else have any other questions or comments?
Victoria, I just wanted to say, I put this in the chat, but there's a lot of conversation around Section 8. A lot of the speakers have spoken about the fact that there's like a myriad of programs within the system, right? There's product-based, there's housing vouchers and things like that. So I'm going to go back to our team and see if we can, you know, in addition to the Assemblywoman talked about reaching out to Nidhi Velasquez's office. Well, I'm going to see what information we can provide, but I also don't want to get us too far ahead into a conversation that's not quite there yet. So we'll make sure to put all of the different types of programs. My colleague is far more knowledgeable about housing than I, so he might either present at a meeting or we can have some information, whatever medium you think is best. We happily will accommodate that. If there's any specific questions you have, obviously what was discussed in the meeting, I'm going to take back to integrate into the information that we provide, but anything else, I put my email in the chat. So we'll go from there.
Thank you so much, Hannah. We really appreciate it and appreciate all the work that you guys have been putting into this. And we know, and we're hoping Section 8 is a great, but obviously anything that can make this happen is what we're looking for. So, but the more information, the better armed we are. So thank you. So if there are no other questions, I think do we see any other questions? I don't see any. So then I think we can wrap it up and say thank you all so very much. We really appreciate it. Please do take out the petitions. Actually, I did want to note, Victoria did put in the chats, yes, we should bring the petitions to the Tunnel to Towers and get people to sign. That would be great. And if there are any other events that people know about where flyering or us petitioning would be welcome and helpful and would help us promote, please let us know. Please do reach out and let us know. But if not, I think if there's nothing else, I just want to say thank you everyone so much for your support. It's been really amazing. We've come so far because you guys care, and that's what matters, and that's what's brought us here. So thank you.
Hope to see as many of you as possible tomorrow at the community board. I'll be there in person.
Yes, yeah, me too.
It's a hybrid meeting. You can go on via WebEx if that's more
easier. Yes, good point, Mariama. Very good point. Because yes, you don't have to show up in person. You can call in.
So hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you
great.
all.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Great job.
Good meeting.
Yeah.
Maybe coalition members should stay on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you see the note in the chat? A person named Penny Mintz?
Yes.
Penny's still on. Hi,
She's
Penny.
still on. Hey, Penny. Penny, unmute yourself.
Hi. Hi.
What is, if I may, we have the community board meeting at the same time. Yours is at 6 o'clock as well. And is yours in person or virtual?
No, it's in person. We're having a meeting in person with refreshments.
Oh, darn. I'd rather go to your meeting. There'll be no refreshments at mine.
Outdoors, Jackson Square. It'll go on later than 6 o'clock.